Good morning, early birds. This is Dr. Annette Feravich here. I'm having trouble a little bit with making sure I'm on. So, because I had to reset everything. There we go. Okay, looks like everything's fine. I am a little stuck here. But what I'm doing today is I am rebroadcasting Classroom Day 64. As I've told you, what I'm trying to do is I'm looking over my old videos to make sure that the videos are effective, efficient, and that they basically are saying what I want to say. They are appropriate. And so I'm editing all of them, and that's the reason why a lot of them are turned off. And I found that number 64 really wasn't a very good video. And so what I want to do is I really want to redo that video. And so what we have here today is a to-do list, and on this to-do list, these are the things that I want to get done that were all a part of day number 64. And that is, first of all, reviewing the book If You Lived with a Cherokee. So I'm not going to reread this book, but we are going to go through the questions in this book, and then I'm going to put up a playlist where everything that I've read from this book is in that playlist. If you remember back then, which you probably don't because I didn't, at that time I was reading on one day, doing math and science on another day, and doing basic grammar on another day. And sometimes I would review, even though I was on a reading day, some of the basic grammar or some of the other things. And so you wouldn't find the book If You Lived with a Cherokee in numbers 62, 63, and 64. In fact, they are on number 55, 58, and 61, and then 64 was the review. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting together a playlist, and on that playlist, you'll have all of them available for that book. So that's what I want to do today. Also, what I did in that class was I reviewed plurals, I reviewed common and proper nouns, I reviewed nouns and pronouns, so lots of nouns, nouns and verbs, and subject and verbs, which subjects are also nouns as well. So let's go ahead and get started with that review. So here are all the questions, and in fact, what I want to do actually is I want to put those in something else. So there we go. See, I still have got this delay sometimes. Sometimes I am going to have to get some things set up, and that always takes a little while. Not that long. Okay, so here's our PowerPoint. There we go. And these are the questions that I want to go through. And you can see we're back on the old chalkboard because that was the chalkboard that we used for classroom number 64. So these are the questions that I want to go through for today. Number one, who were the Cherokee and where did they live? Number two, what did the Cherokee look like and what did they wear? Number three, what were some of the customs that the Cherokee shared? Number 4, what happened to the Cherokee when the United States was formed, and what was the Trail of Tears? Number 5, who was Sequoyah and what did he do? And number 6, do the Cherokee still exist today? So I wanted to list those questions for you. So if you wanted to read the book or look at the book and go through the questions with your child whenever you wanted to, those are the questions that we're going to be asking and answering today. So there's our first question. Who were the Cherokee and where did they live? So here's the answer to that question. Who were the Cherokee and where did they live? They were Native Americans, the first people to live in what we now call the United States. And where did they live? They lived in the mid to southeastern United States. And so here's our book that we have. And in this book, they show a little bit of the map here where they lived. So this is in the mid to south, which is actually the Great Smoky Mountains area, which is where they lived, and definitely on the east, right? So mid to southern states and on the eastern side of the United States. I also had up here a map, and here's the map that shows all of the different tribes across the United States. And so here in the purple, you can see right there in the center where it says Cherokee. So there were also some Cherokee that were located there in the north as well. And so that's where they were located. And this map is really interesting because it shows all of the different tribes in the areas. Okay, let's go ahead and get to our next question. What did the Cherokee look like and what did they wear? So you can see here that these questions were on 55, 58, and number 61 I have right there up at the top. So they were light tan or dark skin. They had black, straight hair, and the girls left their hair long. They were generally slim because they worked really hard and they played and they hunted and they did a lot of things, so they were generally slim. The women wore jewelry, so they dressed themselves up, and the clothes were made from animal skins. What were some of the customs that the Cherokee shared? They got married. They often changed their names as they went along, depending on what they felt that they were, right? So part of their personality, they would change their names to reflect that. They lived in clans. They hunted, they planted, they harvested, they built homes, they played games, and they had village leaders as well. What happened to the Cherokee when the United States was formed, and what was the Trail of Tears? The United States government forced Cherokees to live as they did, as the people in the United States did. They wrote a constitution and they elected officials as well. So they wanted the Cherokee to live and be governed the same way that the colonial people did. However, this wasn't working for the U.S. government, so they were forced to move west of the Mississippi in 1838, with over 4,000 dying along that Trail of Tears. So the Trail of Tears was the march out of their homeland that we saw here, generally right here, and then moving to west of the Mississippi, and mainly into Oklahoma is where they ended up moving to. Who was Sequoyah and what did he do? He was what was called he made what was called the Cherokee syllabary or the Cherokee alphabet to form a written language in order for the Cherokee to learn to read and write and also engage in contracts. And that took him about, I think it said, 12 years to do. I should actually be going through these pictures with you. So you could see here, did they learn to read and write? And here it says, for 12 years he worked hard making leaves and working on that syllabary. Here are different pictures of some of the cultures and the things that they did. These were blow guns and darts that they used to hunt. Here were some of the tools that they used. And some of the jobs that they did, hunting and harvesting. And some of the leaders and what they wore. And how they built their forts and their homes, and councils and meeting places, and homes and huts and villages, and where they slept and how they slept, and getting married and having some of the same similar customs. And here were some of the things that they wore, like the jewelry. So that gives you a reminder of what we were talking about. Do the Cherokee exist today? Yes, they are the second largest group of Native Americans in the United States. Some live where they originated in the Great Smoky Mountains, and others live in the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Okay, so that takes care of our review on if you lived with the Cherokee. Now we did some review, starting with this book, if you remember, 101 Ways to Improve Your Grammar Skills. So that was tip number 12, Know Your Nouns, which is what we're going over a little bit today. And then the other one is number 13, Pronouns are noun substitutes. So that's where we went in classroom number, and you can see here that we started this actually in classroom number 54. So this is a review of some of the other classrooms, and you could find this in the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic in our EarlyBird playlist. So the very first thing we talked about were plurals and making plurals. So most plurals are formed by adding an S to the singular form of the word. So can becomes cans, picture becomes pictures, dentist becomes dentists. When a singular noun ends in CH, SH, S, SS, or X, you add an ES to the plural form. So church becomes churches, wish becomes wishes, bus becomes buses, class becomes classes, and box becomes boxes. When a noun ends in Z, double the Z and add an ES. So here quiz becomes quizzes and buzz becomes buzzes. I want to turn that fan off. It's a little warm in here. When a noun ends in Y preceded by a consonant, right? And we remember what those consonants are. They are every letter of the alphabet except for A, E, I, O, and U, which are our vowels. So here, there you have baby, and right before the Y is the consonant B. So baby becomes B-A-B-I-E-S. The Y changes to I, and you add an E-S. City becomes cities. C-I-T-Y, the T is a consonant before the Y, becomes C-I-T-I-E-S. Party has the T, a consonant before the Y, becomes parties, P-A-R-T-I-E-S. The Y changes to I, and you add an E-S. Some nouns ending in an F or an F-E change the F or F-E to a V, and you add E-S. So calf, C-A-L-F, becomes calves, C-A-L-V-E-S. Knife becomes knives, K-N-I-F-E becomes K-N-I-V-E-S. Leaf ends in an F, becomes leaves, L-E-A. The F changes to a V and you add E-S, L-E-A-V-E-S. Thief becomes thieves, T-H-I-E-F becomes T-H-I-E-V-E-S. And wife becomes wives, W-I. The F changes to a V and you add E-S. And then there are special forms of plurals where child becomes children, foot becomes feet, mouse becomes mice, ox becomes oxen, tooth becomes teeth, and woman or men become women or men. So these are special forms of plurals that have to be memorized. Some plurals are the same in both singular and plural form. 1 deer or 10 deer. 1 moose or 10 moose. 1 sheep or 10 sheep. So there are our plural rules to follow and the irregular plurals. Let's go back a little bit before we get into the pronouns. Let's go into some of the nouns here. So here is The original chart I showed you, that shows you quite a few of the different nouns that we have. So there we've got, some of the nouns are, for example, they could be abstract, like love. Love is a thing. Fear is a thing. Confusion is a thing. We're going to talk about proper nouns as well. But let's, before actually we take a look at that, let's look at the yeah, there we go. The proper nouns that we have, and that, or the nouns, the definitions of nouns that we're going to learn today. So a noun is the name of a person, place, thing, or an idea. So we've got Daniel is a person, London is a place, table is a thing, hope is an idea. Mary uses a blue pen for her notes. Mary is a person, pen is a thing, notes are a thing. So that is the definition of a noun. And then you could see we've got some proper nouns there, which are supposed to be capitalized. Let me take that off of there. So right here, we've got proper nouns. Here, we've got collective nouns, so more than one thing. Family represents a collection. Group represents a collection. Bunch represents a collection. And then there at the top there, that is on the right-hand side, over here at the top, we've got concrete nouns that we know are nouns. We know these are things, like a cloud or a chimney or a banana or a plane or a door. Compound words in the middle there to the right can also be nouns. Suntan, childhood, armchair, toothpaste. Those are compound words that are also nouns. And then we've got down here below our pronouns. So a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. I takes the place of Dr. Feravich. She takes the place of Tammy. He takes the place of Ben. They take the place of group. It takes the place of box. And then we also have other pronouns: them, they, theirs, us, our, ours, you, your, and yours. So many different kinds of pronouns that can take the place of nouns. All right? Now let's take a look at the pronouns, which we already said. Pronouns, a pronoun is used in place of a noun or noun phrase to avoid repetition. You don't say, Ben took Ben's book to the class. You say, Ben took his book to the class, right? So you don't repeat those nouns over and over. You use pronouns instead. And I think that's all that there is one more that I want to show you that gives you a variety of pronouns. Right here. So, personal pronouns, indefinite pronouns, and possessive pronouns. Ben took his book to the class. His shows possession, right? So she, her, he, him, I, me, it are personal pronouns. Sarah loves bikes, and you don't say and Sarah rides every day. You say and she rides every day. Indefinite pronouns means that you're not sure of what the noun might be. One, other, none, some, anybody, everybody, somebody, anyone, someone, or no one. Everyone was late because of the weather. Her, his, my, your, its, our, their, whose. Bill rode his bike, showing possession to school. So there are our pronouns. Now, let's talk about subjects. The subject of a sentence is a noun or pronoun that does the action or, oh, you know what? Before we do that, I want to go to the common or proper nouns. That's what I wanted to do next. So let's look at those. And here what we need to do is we need to circle the proper nouns. So here's our circle for proper nouns, and we need to underline, here's where we underlined, our common nouns. So there is the first example. Henry plays games on his computer. So we can tell very easily the proper nouns because they are capitalized. Proper nouns are capitalized. So we know there are two proper nouns. Mr. Fan and Sunday are two proper nouns. Can you find some common nouns that are in there? Common nouns, a person, place, or thing. And we underline those. So here, park is a noun. It's a thing. A lot of times, nouns are preceded by a, an, or the. We call those articles. So we see the right here. And then we can see that the next word is going to be a noun. So let's go ahead in the next sentence and circle our proper nouns. Caroline and Canton Avenue. That's a street, right? Now we have got an article here, and, which comes right before a noun. The next sentence, Jacob, we could see is capitalized. That's a noun, and we know it's a noun also because it's the subject of a sentence. The first word of a sentence is always capitalized, but it's the subject, so we know that's a noun as well. And then California is the name of a specific state, and because it's a specific state, it is also capitalized. Here is an article a. Remember we said the, an, and a are articles that often come before a noun. So there's the noun. Jacob taking a plane to California. We didn't read those other sentences. Mr. Fan runs. Runs is the verb. What does he do? He runs. In the park, a thing every Sunday. Caroline lives in an apartment. which is a thing on Canton Avenue. Another thing, but it's a specific name, so it's a proper noun. Here we've got a common noun names any person, place, or thing, where a proper noun is the name of a specific person, place, or thing, and proper nouns always begin with a capital letter. The zoo will be closed on Labor Day. So here we've got the capital word the to begin the sentence, which comes right before a noun. And Labor Day is a specific day, so that is a proper noun. Nina's birthday is in March. Nina is a specific person, so that is capitalized because it's a proper noun. It's also capitalized because it's the first word of a sentence. We also have got the word March capitalized, which is a specific month. A month is a thing, and March is a specific month. Do we have any other nouns in there? A person, place, or thing. Birthday. There is no and, the, or a before that because there's Nina before it. But birthday is a thing. It's not a specific thing, but it's a thing. The next sentence, my family eats turkey on Thanksgiving. We can see there Thanksgiving is a specific day like Labor Day, so that's a proper noun and it's capitalized. What about some other nouns? And we see some nouns here that are, again, they don't have an, or the before them, but we do have a pronoun. I think takes the place of a noun. No, that would be an adjective, I think. Before this, what kind of family? My family. And what do they eat? They eat a thing, which is turkey. The next sentence starts with the proper noun. A specific person named Kim is having a picnic. There's the and, so we know picnic is a noun. With Liam, Liam is a specific person. And where? In a specific place, which is Central Park. Uncle Ted lives by the lake in Wisconsin. We can see that Wisconsin is a specific place, but so is and Ted, Uncle Ted, is a specific person. Lives by the lake. There we've got an article, so we know lake is also a noun. Did you see Winston at the party on Friday? Winston is the name of a specific person. Friday is the name of a specific day. We can see an article there before the noun party. Did you see Winston? Did you see? Those are not person, place, or thing. Although you is a pronoun, right? You is a pronoun. So we actually can underline that too, because it's a pronoun. See Winston at the party on Friday. Quinn, that's a specific person, saw Venus through the telescope. So there is a specific planet that is capitalized. And her telescope, whose telescope? that is a thing. Her is showing possession, that is a personal pronoun. Ms. Brady, that's a specific person, bought us delicious pastries. Pastries is a thing. From the Sweet Spot, that's a specific name, that's a proper noun. So there we finish this sheet from education.com on common or proper nouns. Now what you do here is you make it proper. So here what we want to do is make that quite a bit bigger. And then think about some different proper nouns. So can you think of a specific month that you want to type in there? I'll put a nice summer month where we had lots of celebrations, June. Actually, let's change that to text. So can you think of a specific country like the United States? That would be capital as well. I want to copy that as text. Can you think of a specific planet like Earth? And now let's think of a specific city like St. Louis. Can you think of a specific athlete? You probably have more ideas than I do. Right now, all I can think of is Babe Ruth, a baseball player. Can you think of a specific street, like maybe the one that you live on, right? So a specific street, like maybe Starwood, or maybe Main Street. Can you think of a specific holiday? Those would be capitalized as well, like maybe Independence Day. Can you think of a specific president? Like possibly George Washington. Can you think of an ocean? Because a specific ocean would be a proper noun and would be capitalized, like the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. And then, can you think of a river? Because the name of a river would also be a proper noun. So there we've got common and proper nouns. All right, so that is finished. Well, I want to save that. Oh, here's the copy. There we go. And there are our answers. And we'll close that. And we'll revert this to last opened. There we go. Oh, no. There we go. Now let's go back to our PowerPoint and see what else. Now we want to talk about the subject of a sentence is a noun or pronoun that does the action or represents a state of being. The subject decides the spelling or form of the verb to use. So we go through subjects in a different class, and then verbs express an action or state of being. So let's go to this. Can't get that there. I must not have it up any longer. No, I do. There we go. So a verb shows an action or state of being. So who is doing the action would be a subject, which we can clearly see in these sentences here. Who is doing the action? Mr. Fan runs. Caroline lives. Jacob is taking. The zoo will be closed. Birthday is. Family eats. So those are some action words. Family eats. Eats is an action. But there Kim is a state of being. Is. She is. She is alive. She is being. Uncle Ted lives. Lives is an action. Winston, or you see. You see. Quinn saw. Seeing is an action. Ms. Brady bought. Bought is an action. So we can see some of those action verbs. And now let's take a look at some other action verbs. So action verbs, some verbs show action, like run, jump, climb, swim, cross, snag, push, sew, enter, skip, love, harness, ride, saw, bark, the dog barked, scamper, pay. All of those show some kind of action. You can picture somebody doing those things right inside your head. Some verbs describe a state of being. They can also be helping verbs or linking verbs. So these are showing a state of being. I am. He is. The clouds were. But the clouds were what? Darkening. That's an helping verb then. The clouds were rumbling. That's an action verb then. To be. Let's see. She's being. She's being nasty is a linking verb. It links the idea of the subject to some character. He's been hiding. Hiding, been is a helping verb for hiding. Hiding shows the action. So here where you've got the tree was, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I thought I could draw on this, but it doesn't look like I can. Let me just get on out of there. So there we've got the tree was. That's a state of being. There is no other thing you want to say. It just is. The tree is. But if you say the tree is alive, that actually gives it some characteristic. That's a linking verb. The tree is what? It gives it a characteristic of being alive. Make that line a little bit thicker. If I say the boy is running, we can see that running is an action, but is a verb of being is the helper. So there's our entire verb. The boy is running. Running is an action, right? The family was leaving. The kids are helping. Helping is an action. Are is a verb of being. Are helping is a helping verb. Are helping is the verb. The kids are happy Are is a linking verb. Are is a verb of being. The kids are happy. Happy links it to some character trait. The girl is charismatic. That's a character trait. So verbs of being can be a verb of being. They can be helping verbs, and they can also be linking verbs. Here are other linking verbs. Appear. The clouds appear to be dark. I feel welcome. The caterpillar becomes a butterfly. So linking verbs can be verbs of being. They can be other verbs, seem, looks, feel, and they link it to a characteristic. Okay? All right. Well, that is it for today for our getting finished with or redoing or remaking class number 64, because I wanted to, as I said, get to editing these so some of the videos are more effective, and that those glasses, some of them are more effective and they are targeting exactly what I wanted to teach for that day. So this is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks so much for joining me. Actually, this is on private, so you can't join me. And I left it on private just because, well, just because I don't know how many people really want to hear from the teacher anymore. That's the truth. So I wanted to do this for my own library, and because I really want to improve on the classroom and edit these classrooms, and this one I felt like really needed to be remade. Thanks so much for joining me here in the classroom. This is Dr. Annette Feravich, and we have been here remaking day number 64. Thanks for joining me.